These are the headlines for the 19th of August 2020. More and more appeals are being proposed for government and separatist fighters, leaders to find a common ground of understanding for the benefit of the two crisis-hit English-speaking regions. Our reporter Peter Nsosie was at the meeting today, chaired by the Archbishop Emeritus of Douala, Christian Cardinal Tumi, and some legal minds have reacted adversely to the recent restriction of light weapons and machetes in the English-speaking regions by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Minister Paul Atanganji. Our reporter Catherine Kone has some of those reactions in this newscast, and those are top stories. Good evening. Thanks for joining the 6 p.m. newscast on Spectrum Television. I am Josephine Bindzi. As announced in the headlines, conveners of the Anglophone General Conference has renewed appeals for government and separatist leaders to initiate talks in order to end the crisis in all two English-speaking regions. This was the outcome of a meeting in Douala today, chaired by Christian Cardinal Tumi, Archbishop Emeritus of Douala. Peter Nsosie was there and now reports.
The increasing spate of violence in the northwest and southwest regions has forcefully dragged out the initiators of the Anglophone General Conference. After months of dead silence, religious authorities in the northwest and southwest regions have strongly condemned the recent killing of Comfort Tumasang in Moyoka early this month.
It necessitated religious leaders to meet in order to condemn it vigorously and also encourage all the actors to have a spirit of love, humility, in order to look for a lasting solution to this cyclical crisis.
To find a definite solution to the conflict, members of the Anglophone General Conference, convened Wednesday by the Archbishop Emeritus of Douala, Christian Cardinal Tumi, are urging the government to release all those arrested in connection with the crisis, but most importantly, begin crucial talks with separatist leaders.
We encourage the government to enter into genuine negotiation or talks with separatist forces.
Leaders of secessionist groups have also been called to shift grounds and open up to negotiations.
Separatist leaders at home or abroad should also be willing to talk without any preconditions. And I think regarding your question precisely, we encourage the government to also send a hand to those who are in the diaspora.
It is not the first time the Anglophone General Conference is making these proposals. Previous calls have so far fallen on deaf ears as the crisis persists with devastating consequences on communities in the respective regions. But the body is not giving up.
The religious leaders have faith, and we think separatist leaders and the government will listen to our appeal and go on the negotiating table to look for ways and means to put an end to this cyclical phase of violence in our country.
The call of the Anglophone General Conference adds up to similar moves by political and civil society actors in Cameroon and abroad, as well as national and international organizations for a return to normalcy in the northwest and southwest regions.
And we now take you to the southwest region, where women in the southwest have urged authorities to put an end to the barbaric acts on women and young girls who are becoming targets and prevailing casualties in the prevailing conflict. The disgruntled women have staged a peaceful protest in Boya and met with Governor Bernard Okala Bilai. We still remain with you, Peter Nsosie.
They have been crying for close to 4 years now, and they can't any longer. The pain is unbearable. Women of the southwest region are still in shock over the slaughter of Comfort Tumasang in Moyoka. The latest in a litany of young girls and women raped, dehumanized and killed in the northwest and southwest regions. They are out to express their pain and call on the powers that be to put an end to the killing of women.
I felt as if the whole world has collapsed. I cried. seeing my fellow woman being slaughtered like an animal. Up to now, I don't think that feeling has gotten off me. The feeling of Florence has not gotten off me till this time.
Placards in hand, the stage a solemn but significant protest from the Boya Independence Square to the Southwest Governor's office to pass their message.
Your papa must tell you. If you had the vex, you had the bond, you want to see your papa, you go tell your papa first. If somebody bomb you, if you can see your papa, you go tell you say, Papa, this thing will bomb me plenty. What you fit tell me? I see what you have to do.
At the governor's office, Bernard Okaria Bilai is just from Moyoka to accompany the Prime Minister's Chief of Cabinet, who visited the bereaved family to extend the condolence message of the head of state. A memorandum is handed to the regional chief executive. After listening to them, Bernard Okaria Bilai decries the lack of collaboration with the forces of law and order.
Lady, Comfort Tumasan, was slaughtered in the daylight at 2 a.m. People were watching behind the windows what those criminals were doing, but nobody picked his phone to call the forces of law or out to shout. Do you think that we can succeed if we continue to behave like that?
But he also challenges them to be courageous and denounce relatives of those committing atrocities in the region.
Don't you go back to your various villages and quarters to tell the other women to go out and call names of those whose sons are doing it. You know them. They are abroad. They are with us. They know. You know. Today, you know those who are killing us, those who are killing your children. It is no longer a secret. They are there. Call them. Call their mothers. Call their sisters to tell their children to stop it.
The women leave the governor's office expecting a sustainable solution and an end to the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions. The help of God Almighty is also solicited to end the violence against women and unarmed civilians.
The Savior, we surrender, we surrender.
And in relation to these sad incidences in the northwest and in the southwest regions, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has authorized authorities in the northwest and southwest regions on extreme vetting on the sales of light weapons, machetes and building materials in the region for a renewable period of 3 months. This action is coming following the brutal slaughters of innocent civilians in the 2 regions by Separatist fighters. Catherine Kone has details.
The recent killings in the northwest and southwest regions of the country account to a decision taken by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, restricting the sales, possession and use of light weapons in the Anglophone regions. In a release issued to the governors of the 2 English-speaking regions, the minister says the only way for a person living in the northwest and southwest region to own a machete, an axe or an iron rod is henceforth through authorization. He urged the governors to count out all the machete, axes and irons found in all the shops present in their area of command, so that none of them should be bought without the buyer giving concrete reasons for the purchase. He further says, before purchasing iron rod used for building, for example, the buyer must have a building project ongoing and the construction must be legal. Also, before buying a machete, the buyer must own a farm or give a concrete reason for doing so, after which the divisional officer will grant an authorization for the purchase. This decision by the Territorial Administration Boss is coming following the recent acts of violence perpetrated on women and men in the northwest and southwest region by suspected separatist fighters who used the above weapons to commit the gruesome killings. For the past few weeks, a day cannot pass without one seeing shocking videos of unknown individuals brutally killing innocent citizens. The act sparked a lot of outrage, condemnation from politicians, human rights groups, and international bodies.
Legal practitioners hold the assertion that the Minister of Territorial Administration is not in any position to restrict the sales of light weapons and machetes in the English-speaking regions. Barrister Tamfu Richard says government is rather aggravating the current tension in the Anglophone regions. We remain with you, Catherine Kone.
Following the Minister of Territorial Administration decision prohibiting the sales and use of light weapons in the two English-speaking regions, Barrister Emmanuel Ashu Agbo says he is not in any position to give such an order.
And it's whether this minister has jurisdiction to take any administrative order in that respect. Because to the best of my knowledge, things having to do with commerce, functioning of markets, the prices in the markets have fall under the Ministry of Commerce. So I don't know why a Minister of Territorial Administration will interfere with the population's right to buy and sell.
He added that the minister is talking without knowing the actual happenings in the regions.
I don't know whether this minister is really conversant with what is happening in the field. Because when he says that before somebody buys a machete or buys building material, because look, houses have been burnt. When the commission went down to visit Boyamba Menda, and they were talking about reconstruction, they said there were about 11,000 houses that were destroyed. Now, people don't have houses; their houses have been destroyed. Before they want to rebuild their houses, to buy building material, iron rods, they have to go to sous-prefet. The first question that comes to my mind, are those sous-prefets in place? Are they there? Because to the best of my knowledge, most of them are not in place. They are not in.
He further questions how efficient the decision will be implemented.
What does he have as measures to control his order, the respect of his order? Northwest and southwest of southern Cameroon has as borders Nigeria, as neighboring country Nigeria. And we all know that there is no standing army along the border to see who is coming in and who is going out. You have crossing points, but the whole place is made up of vast extents of forests and a river. You just cross the Cross River and you're on the other side. What we know is that there is contraband trade, there's trade that is going on, and machetes will enter. He has no way of stopping the entry of machetes.
To Barrister Tamfu Richard, he says
the basic instruments used by these local populations for farming, when you start restraining them or having to make them undergo a procedure of obtaining an authorization from the Dues office, I wonder, asking myself, which law provides for that? Is it not an excess or an abuse of power by the administrator? You see, we are living a crisis where this regime actually knows where the problem is, but it keeps on insisting and using measures which are not convenient or suitable to put an end to this crisis. You have the impression that there is a bad will, bad political will in putting an end to this crisis. When you read at the communique, you have the impression that the minister is actually the one terrorizing the population, having to force them to measures which are not suitable. You see,
these reactions are coming after Minister Paul Atangaji restricted the use of machetes, iron rod, axes in the two English-speaking regions of the country.
Ayukotang Ndep Nkongo, one of the lawyers in the legal team of jailed separatist leaders Sisiku Ayuk Tabe Julius and Co, who was arrested by elements of law and order, has been freed from police custody. Sources reveal that he was interrogated by a gendarme in Limbe at the instruction of the company commander. He was accused of having taken a photo with one of the boys receiving treatment of numerous bullet wounds from stray bullets by the military. Some 5 suspects who hung a young girl in Confidence Street's neighborhood in Fiango, Kumba, have been arrested and presented to the population. The suspects were arrested by the forces of law and order after a video circulated on social media last week showing the gruesome act committed by these suspects. They were presented by the Senior Divisional Officer for Meme Division, Chamberlain Tuondong, at the Divisional Office of Kumba. The 5 were taken from the Kosala Gendarme Brigade and feared to be one of the crime scenes in Confidence Street. They demonstrated and explained how they how they tied the lady on the tree. According to them, the lady stole a cell phone belonging to one of them, and they decided to flog her for the crime she committed. Let's listen to the Senior Divisional Officer for Meme Division, Chamberlain Tuondong.
Although I was born, got seriously beating a young girl who was tied on top of the tree. They send a video to the social media to show that they are powerful. Unfortunately for them, forces of law and order succeed to arrest them. Let me first of all congratulate them for the job well done. To congratulate also the population for their own collaboration, because today many of them are sincerely collaborating to help the administration do its own job. And let me also seize this opportunity to say it openly that within the Home Meme Division, they kill somebody around you without a reaction of the population, all the surrounding population are going to be arrested. Although I was born, got seriously beating a young girl who was tied on top of the tree. They send a video to the social media to show that they are powerful. Unfortunately for them, forces of law and order succeed to arrest them. Let me first of all congratulate them for the job well done. To congratulate also the population for their own collaboration, because today many of them are sincerely collaborating to help the administration do its own job. And let me also seize this opportunity to say it openly that within the Home Meme Division, they kill somebody around you without a reaction of the population, all the surrounding population are going to be arrested. Although I was born, got seriously beating a young girl.
More than 200 positive COVID-19 cases have been treated, with 6,000 persons tested at the Dedo District Health Center in the Douala 1 municipality ever since its creation in mid-July. According to authorities, the statistics were gotten after massive sensitization campaigns were being launched. However, the affluence has lost steam because in mid-July, as not up to 10 positive cases were recorded. As at now, just 2 to 3 positive cases are now at the center. Let's listen to our reporter, Oni Ladonet.
Ever since its creation in mid-July, the COVID-19 Health Center opened at the Government Nursery School Daido in the Douala 1 municipality has been able to test over 6,000 persons, with more than 200 positive cases discovered and treated.
Début, ça fait un mois, une semaine qu'on est là, à peu près au moins une semaine qu'on est là, a été ouvert. Alors ce centre, comme
it's been 1 month, 1 week since this center was created. This center is one of the centers in Wuri. Wuri has 9 centers pertaining to the 9 districts. We have Bange, Bonasama, Boko, Cité de Pamiers, Deido, Logbaba, New Bell, Nilong, Japoma.
Logbaba, New Bell, Nilong, Japoma. Non, déjà pas mal.
A result obtained after much effort was invested.
Le grand problème au départ, c'est de faire à ce que les gens viennent se faire dépister. Hein? Mais là, il y a la communauté.
The problem we experienced at the beginning was how to make sure people came in for testing. But now, we have the Community Health Agency, which goes out to neighborhoods sensitizing people. We go into churches, for example, Église Centenaire Aqua. A sensitization campaign is done inside. Tomorrow, for example, at Aqua Nord, we have a sanitation day where we will go into neighborhoods and the community health agents will go from houses to houses, calling on people to voluntarily and freely come in for testing.
Leur dire de venir faire volontairement et gratuitement les tests, hein, parce que ça continue.
Inhabitants who come in for testing have a procedure to follow, which according to medical authorities is free of charge.
Le malade qui arrive ici, c'est moi le président qui le reçoit. Hein? Il entre à l'accueil, on l'enregistre, il ressort. Vous voyez ici deux bancs où les gens qui sont enregistrés viennent s'asseoir.
I receive the patients. They enter into the reception area where he or she gets registered. He comes out and sits on the chair where those who have registered sit. 3 per bench. He enters to the testing room where he is being tested. Behind this is a waiting room. He enters and waits. From testing to result, it takes 15 to 20 minutes. The results are given individually and are kept confidential.
Hein, les médecins qui sont là appellent les malades, enfin les patients individuellement. Les résultats sont individuels, de telle manière que même si vous êtes positif, il n'y a que vous qui le savez.
So far, no major hurdle has been experienced in this center.
And let's now open our international page where the coronavirus pandemic is hitting small businesses in the U.S. very hard. One Washington, D.C. photographer is using her camera to document their journey through the economic crisis. Let's watch the VOA.
Barbershop owner of a vintage clothing store, concert organizer, and a Greek bakery owner. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic, these people had to work hard to keep their businesses afloat, but the lockdown forced many had to temporarily close. But some have managed to get through the toughest times and stay in business. It's their stories that have inspired Washington, D.C.-based photographer Violetta Markello.
Mentally, for me, you know, to lose all your jobs and contracts and, you know, being on the phone with unemployment. I mean, these are very stressful things you're dealing with day to day. I didn't see in the media anyone covering this story. I didn't see anyone paying attention to the small business owners.
That's how Markello's project started. Each photograph is accompanied by the story of people behind the small business and how they have survived the pandemic-fueled crisis. Eric Riggio and Angela Justice co-own an interior design business.
We're a small company, and you know, our employees are like family to us, so we really look at this as we can't provide for our family, you know what I mean, literally and figuratively, as everything was put on hold. So, you know, we do what every entrepreneur does. You just have to pivot and figure it out. We didn't have time to sit there and boo-hoo and cry or whatever.
Riggio says the crisis has taught her something useful.
So we did launch e-design services. We did, during this time, we're able to put our boutique online. That was great. There's a silver lining. I feel like we've done a lot. We've looked at back systems. We've looked at what we're not doing better. My business partner and I have looked at how we could, what are our roles and responsibilities, and really looked at those.
Louis Hankins, who owns a Latin American restaurant, hoped his business would finally go debt-free in 2020. The pandemic pushed back that goal, but he is still grateful.
I'm just thankful to still be here, still have my doors open, still be able to provide a space for my employees to come and earn a living and provide for their families.
Markello says her photo stories show so much, from despair and hope to hard work and inspiration.
I want people to understand what small businesses have to go through, what they have been going through during a pandemic. It is not so easy to shut your doors and then open them again.
There were about 28,000 businesses in Washington, D.C. with 50 or fewer workers in 2019, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's about 1/3 of the city's workforce before the COVID-19 crisis began. Maxim Moskalko for VOA News, Washington.
And that was a package we prepared for you for tonight's newscast. Thanks for watching. We will be back tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. to give you fresh news from around the country and around the world. Good night and sleep well.